The United States is reportedly considering the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. How will this impact the country and future peace talks with the Taliban? Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. US President Donald Trump has long criticized the 17-year-old war in Afghanistan, the longest military conflict in US history that's killed over 2,300 Americans and tens of thousands of Afghans. In December, Trump indicated he's considering the withdrawal of 7,000 troops, halving the number of American forces deployed to Afghanistan. Critics say that move could embolden the Taliban and plunge Afghanistan into further chaos. We begin our coverage with CGTN's Rahim Faiez in Kabul. And Rahim, what's been the reaction from the Afghan government to the possible withdrawal of US troops?
Well, from very beginning, while this issue raised, so the Afghan government security officials, as well as the Afghan government spokespersons, they all said that the withdrawal of US troops in Afghanistan would not have any impact on the morale of the Afghan security forces, as well as on the gun battle which is going on in different provinces of the country. They are giving the reasons that since the transfer of security authorities at the end of 2014 from international security forces to Afghan security forces, now the lead of the battle is, or any offensive and operations are in the hand of the Afghan security forces. So as the US troops and other international forces who are right now in Afghanistan, they have a supportive rule, so that will not have an impact. But on the other hand, the opposition groups, political leaders, and as well as security analysts and military analysts, they are claiming that that would have a very negative impact on the war in Afghanistan, and that will give a high morale to Taliban, who are gaining more territories from the security forces in different provinces of the country right now. Now the Taliban are occupying almost half of the country, and they have expanded their offensive not only in the south or east, they have expanded their offensive in the north and western part of the country. And right now, even they are not attacking the security checkpoints and convoys, but they are attacking in the capital cities in different provinces of the country.
All right, Rahim, let's look at the situation on the ground right now. Another deadly weekend. We had Taliban attacks in Afghanistan. What's the latest?
Basically, there has been an increase of attacks in different parts of the country. We have different checkpoints come under the attack. Now the casualty among the Afghan security forces have increased, and at maximum number. We used to have only between 10 to 15 per day Afghan security forces casualty, but right now, unfortunately, that has been increased to 30 to 40 per day, and and all these negative impacts. Well, Afghan security forces are losing their checkpoints, and once the Taliban are gaining or storming a checkpoint from the Afghan security forces, now the forces are not able to regain the territories that they have lost.
And looking at the situation to try and resolve this, we have several news agencies, Rahim, reporting that Taliban leaders have cancelled peace talks that were to have taken place in Saudi Arabia. What can you tell us about this and efforts to secure some kind of a deal?
From the time that this conference was announced, so the Afghan government put pressure on Saudi Arabia that they will participate in this conference with only one condition: if the Saudi Arabia facilitates a direct peace talks with the Taliban representatives. This is why the Saudi Arabia have asked or requested from the Taliban to sit on one table and have direct talks with the Afghan delegation. But the Taliban refused that from very beginning. The Taliban leadership have said that several times, that they are not going to sit in one table and start direct talks with the Afghan with the Afghan government, because they are saying that it is a slave or puppet government, and they would have their direct peace talks only with the United States of America, not with Afghan government. And they call the Afghan government only Kabul administration. This is why so there is another scheduled peace talks which is going to happen by the end of this month in Doha between US officials and the political office of Taliban in Qatar. On the other hand, the Afghan Peace Council is also have a scheduled plan tomorrow to Islamabad, and the High Peace Council delegation are going to convince the Pakistani authorities as well as the Ulama Council or scholars who have influence of Taliban to at least open a window for a direct peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban. But the people, opposition groups, and political analysts are so disappointed with all these trips, talks with the Pakistan government, because they are saying that in the past years there has been many meetings and a request from the Pakistani authorities, but they haven't facilitated anything, and it's not going to work.
Okay, Rahim, thanks a lot. That's Rahim Faiez reporting there from Kabul.